the studios inside the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, I'm Maggie Blunden, and this is L10 News. We kick off today's show with an exclusive behind-the-scenes tour. While we have enjoyed dining in Tsai since the completion of Phase 1 of construction, much progress has been made for Phase 2, which involves a complete renovation of the old Fieldhouse. Join Celine, Sophie, and Ray on a tour of the construction site hosted by Project Director Fred Montferrat.
Hi, I'm Celine, and today I'm here with Mr. Montferrat, who is the project director of the Tsai construction project. And today we're going to be taking a look at Phase 2 and the Tsai Fieldhouse.
Things have been going very smooth over here on the new construction. This is the connecting bridge from the new to the old. Through the bridge, and this is also going to be clear story glass on both of these sides, as you see, and that should be installed probably within the month. And you could see a lot of the infrastructure, heating lines, cooling lines, electrical.
So what is the total manpower that you guys used for this project?
Average 150 workers per day. And they're spread out from electricians, plumbers, carpenters, roofers, glass guys, a little bit of everything. The track is going to be replaced. We're going to be tearing that up within probably in January. As you can see, this is a challenge up here. That's going to be clear story. That's going to be all glass up there. And we're also going to be air conditioned now in the new field house. This is where the strength and conditioning is going to happen. Of course, windows throughout. It'll be some nice space. We're working with Stuart Robertson, and he's going to be doing a mural to replace the old mural. And it'll be in honor of Lyle Battle and Darrell Fitzgerald. This is going to be the Hall of Fame room, and it's going to overlook, as you can see, the football field. On the other side are the athletic offices. So this is where Trip Wellborn and his staff will be. As you can see, no walls have been put up yet, and no windows have been installed, so this is as raw as it gets. This is the bridge.
So this would be the bottom of the bridge?
That is correct. So on the left is Squash, which is completed and renovated, and that's ready to open for competition for this season. Big Red Store will be right here. And then that'll bring you right into the basketball court.
This is like so much bigger than I expected it would be.
And you know, once that the upstairs corridor is opened up, It's going to look amazing, and it's just going to bring the whole project together.
What is Phase 2 going to be powered by?
So Phase 2 will be powered by the geothermal fields, the same as Phase 1. So that's fed from the fields that are out on the former ninth hole of the golf course, and it runs the hot water and cold water through Tsai on the over by the pool area. We have a large mechanical room, and then as you saw coming through the bridge, all those piping lines, they're all related to that, and it's all geothermal, so it's totally sustainable.
That sounds so amazing. Thank you, Mr. Montferrat, for showing us a tour of Phase 2 of the Tsai project. We're so excited to see the reveal of it.
You're very welcome. I look forward to it too.
Back to you, Maggie.
Thanks to Mr. Montferrat for the exclusive look. Now to arts. Kingsley and Simi take us into the world of Impulse, Lawrenceville's improv comedy troupe.
My name's Maggie, and I'm a junior in Stanley, and I'm the co-head of Impulse this year.
My name is Lauren Williams, and I'm a co-leader of Impulse this year.
I'm Becky. I've been in Impulse since last year.
Impulse is the only improv troupe on campus.
I think the main idea of Impulse is that it's all made up, and there's no script. So the super fun thing about Impulse is that it's a skill, and the skill is totally teachable. Like, you don't just become good at improv, but you hone the skill. So the way that rehearsals work is that we practice all the games that we would play in the show.
After it, we'll give like what we call stars and wishes, which is like star, something great that happened, wish, something that we wish happened in the scene. But honestly, the rehearsals are like the high point of the year. You can just go, have fun.
It's not even a club as much as it is just a group of friends in the community, just all getting together to laugh and hang out.
The people are so much fun to be around. Everyone has such a good time and the energy is so high.
And even if Impulse or any improv comedy group is not something that you end up doing or being a part of, you can still like have those moments with friends and in whatever other form that you want. What I would say to someone who wants to try improv comedy is there's no pressure at all.
Just do it. Even if you think you wouldn't like it, it's just such a fun thing to put yourself out there, try something new.
My first Impulse show, I was so nervous, but the first show was actually so much fun.
If you really want to do Impulse and you're nervous, don't stress about it because it's so just unserious.
What's the difference between a rabbit and a bunny?
I don't know, Maggie. What is the difference between a rabbit and a bunny?
Just a hair.
That was a good one. You hear that, guys? That was Mark.
I know.
Behind the
Pure
camera.
comedy right there.
That was the purest.
Seriously, come to our show. I swear we're funnier than that.
We hope you all can attend their show this Saturday at 8:30 p.m. in Clark. Every Wednesday and Saturday, different songs ring through our campus from the chapel bells. Let's take a look into the club that makes this music possible.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm the president of Out Loud Lawrenceville, which is a student-run organization on campus. Even though many students might not think much of the bells ring on campus, it is in fact a student-run club led by me and Mr. Fleisner.
And I'm Mr. Fleisner, and I'm the faculty sponsor for Out Loud Lawrenceville.
So how did the roll club start?
Well, that would have been about a year ago when Grant Shui, who just graduated in spring 2023, approached me saying it was really wonderful when Rev Morrow would ring the bells a couple times a week, maybe every day after classes, and said, could we make that a student club? And after a couple of reminders, he sort of prodded me to get this started, and he was really the leader behind that, where we started to play the bells every Wednesday and Saturday at about 4 in the afternoon, because those were the half days. It's funny that our first club meeting, so to speak, you show up at the chapel and play bells and think that that is a club meeting, but Mr. Murray did swing by on his bike the first time, which I think doesn't accidentally happen for a lot of other clubs, but he stopped in to say, hey, what's going on? And we played a couple notes and got the approval of the head of school, which is an appropriate endorsement.
And then how do the mechanics of the bells work?
It's funny you say mechanics. A good deal of it is actually electropneumatic action, meaning that mechanically your finger goes down on the key. The key is sending an electric signal. We can actually follow it in a second, through the wire, and then an electric signal up into the belfry. There are little electropneumatic clappers that will strike not bells but tubular chimes. And so really the only interesting mechanical action is the little hammerheads of those clappers.
So this is the room where the bells are played. So the notes are from this keyboard, which is very much like the keyboard of a piano. Right now it's off, but we turn it on by flipping the switch, which opens the motor that powers this bell. Even though we have much more advanced electricity in the chapel now, the motor that powers this bell is actually from the 1930s, so it's very historic and is part of the history of the school. Right now the bell is on, and even though notes are being played on the keyboard, this is actually the only room in on the whole campus where you can't hear the bells, because there's so much heavy insulation around this room that it totally covers up the sound.
Thanks Clementine, Marco, and Augusta for the story. More news. Fourth former Ava Martoma and her two brothers were recently selected winners of the 2023 Changemaker T-Mobile Challenge. The award money will help advance their nonprofit KidsMates, where they partake in advocacy work for children with incarcerated parents. Last Saturday marked the 136th annual Hill Day. Congrats to Big Red for winning the majority of the competitions and earning the Meigs Green Cup. After months of studying a subject, academic scholars presented on everything from gene editing to children's literature this Wednesday at the Academic Showcase. Thanks to all the faculty mentors who made these experiences possible. That's it for this week's episode. As always, if you have a story to share, let us know or stop by our office in the basement of Pop Hall. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode. From all of us here at L10, thanks for watching and good luck during Major Assignments Week.